There have been instances in recent British politics where members of the left and right have worked together to achieve specific outcomes. In 1998, the Good Friday Agreement, where Tony Blair, the Labour Prime Minister, worked with John Major, the former Conservative Prime Minister, together with Irish counterparts, to broker the agreement ending decades of violence in Northern Ireland. While Blair was Prime Minister at the time, Major's earlier groundwork was vital in initiating talks. Then there was the Climate Change Act of 2008, when the UK became the first country to pass a comprehensive climate change law with support from both Labour, led by Gordon Brown, and the Conservatives under David Cameron. This bipartisan consensus highlighted the shared urgency of addressing climate change. Universal credit in 2010, which was introduced by Ian Duncan Smith for the Conservatives, but Labour later criticised its implementation, although they showed early willingness to engage with the policy's principles. The point is that when it was rolled out, it was a mess. The Same-Sex Marriage Act in 2013, again championed by the Conservative Prime Minister David Cameron, but it relied on significant support from Labour MPs as many Conservative backbenchers opposed it. It demonstrated cross-party collaboration on social reform to get through and to become law. The COVID-19 response, of course, had cross-party support across the House, including Labour under Keir Starmer, to provide constructive criticism and support for government measures such as the furlough scheme spearheaded by Rishi Sunak. Scottish devolution in 1997, the campaign saw figures like Donald Dewar for Labour working alongside Liberal Dems and even some progressive Conservatives to secure a referendum on devolving power to Scotland in 1997. The Modern Slavery Act under Theresa May led to landmark legislation which received broad cross-party support. And the Brexit referendum again saw Tony Blair and the Conservatives under David Cameron join forces along with the Lib Dems to advocate for staying in the EU, and a rather lacklustre and limp support from Jeremy Corbyn, which didn't work, of course. So when you put all that together, the unlikely alliance between Lord Mandelson and Nigel Farage bridging the Atlantic divide doesn't seem so impossible. Two men united by a shared mission to salvage Britain's special relationship with the United States under a Donald Trump presidency. Peter Mandelson, the new Labour architect turned diplomat, now ambassador, embodies the polished, pragmatic and occasionally Machiavellian persona required for high-stakes negotiations, and his recent appointment as the UK's ambassador to the United States marks a significant departure from tradition. Political appointments to this post have been rare, and Mandelson's stated goal is to forge a new relationship rather than a special one with Washington, with trade at the heart of his agenda. However, history is not on Mandelson's side. His past description of Trump as a white supremacist has resurfaced, prompting Trump's campaign chief to brand him a moron. And diplomatic niceties, it seems, will not come easily. This is why these diplomatic roles like ambassador, are generally given to diplomats rather than to politicians. Enter Nigel Farage, the former Brexit Party leader and self-styled outsider, who boasts an enviable personal rapport with Trump, and Farage, a man who once campaigned against everything Mandelson stood for, now finds himself courted as the bridge between the British government and Trump. And this is the political equivalent of inviting a fox to oversee negotiations with the hens. Farage has said he would be happy to act as this intermediary, stressing the importance of the UK's relationship with the US. He is, after all, no stranger to navigating the volatile tides of Trump's ego and policies, having played an advisory role during Trump's 2016 campaign. The primary concern underpinning this unlikely collaboration is trade. Trump has already hinted at imposing tariffs on British exports, a move that could devastate key industries. And Mandelson's mandate is to prevent this scenario, but he faces a steep uphill battle, especially given Trump's proclivity for treating international relations as transactional. Farage's insights into Trump's psyche and network, including ties with Elon Musk, who is reportedly considering substantial donations to Reform UK, could offer Mandelson a vital edge. As Mandelson himself said, you cannot ignore him. Swallowing pride may be easier than it seems for somebody of Mandelson's stature, but the stakes demand it. And the plan has not been met with universal approval. Labour figures have expressed concern that engaging with Farage could elevate his profile and undermine progressive values. As Lord Blunkett cautioned, seeking to influence Trump through Farage elevates individuals and causes we deeply oppose. Yet pragmatism must prevail. Lord Darroch, former ambassador to the US, likened working with Trump to enduring a 24/7 barroom brawl, emphasizing the need for resilience. Mandelson's decades of political manoeuvring suggest he is well equipped for such a challenge. But this is not merely about trade, tariffs or diplomatic niceties. It reflects a broader shift in Britain's foreign policy under Starmer's Labour government, and by appointing a political heavyweight like Mandelson and contemplating advice from Farage, Starmer signals a willingness to prioritise national interest over ideological purity. The Mandelson-Farage collaboration, however improbable, may serve as a litmus test for Britain's ability to adapt to the chaotic landscape of Trump's America. It's a high-stakes gamble, a one-part pragmatism, one-part necessity thing, and whether this partnership succeeds or collapses under the weight of its contradictions remains to be seen. But for now, we can only marvel at the surreal sight of Peter Mandelson extending an olive branch to Nigel Farage in the name of diplomacy.